decided to build something that will be easy to manage my composting, and I'll be able to use EM-1 to effectively put organisms back into the ground. So I needed for the shelves, racks to be waist height to shoulder height in order for me to feel comfortable using it in the future. So Ozito Silent Shredder has already been bought and shredding begins. This is my green prunings. It's really hard to get them through the shredder because the moisture makes it clog up. I'll see if I can show you the difference. Put them there for the moment while I turn the button on. Let's see what happens with this one. What I like to do is take the long branches and using my gloves pull it off like this, because I really like these small tipuana leaves. You can see lots of them down there. And this is what I put in my potting mix once I've put the EM-1, Essential Micro-Organisms. So I like all these fine tipuana leaves. The leaves of the tipuana fall off easily after a month drying, so this is worth silver. But you come over here and this is the same thing 8 weeks later, and it's all inoculated with EM-1. It's feeding the soil. Good stuff. Gold. So my system's working. It'll eventually, they'll end up there. Maybe tomorrow. Okay, let's see how this Ozito Silent Shredder works. I like that it's self-feeding. Now sometimes you have to stop and get rid of this because others can't come out. Thank you, Ozito.
Hold on.
Thank you, Shredder. Oh, yes. This is $309 at Bunnings, but I got it for $209 because it was a shop demo and this part was slightly bent. So, I do love it. So these green ones, way too green to put through the shredder because it just clogs it up. So they are going to go in the now empty drying rack. So there we are, drying rack empty. 2 weeks, maybe 3 for it to get really dry, like this. Beautiful, beautiful dry. Ready to go into this. Oops, dropped it. So here's the next lot of prunings that's going into the drying rack. I can smell that I've cut rosemary there. So I need to push these in further. I'll start putting these slats back. That one's a bit tight, I might have to do something about that. Okay, the last one to make it look tidier. Up and down. There you are. Certainly looking better. Right, let's focus on feeding our earth. One way to do that is to use EM-1, activate it with molasses, and then using varying amounts of ratios, put it anywhere in your garden, your plants, your drains. Compost is particularly good. That's what I mostly use it for. What I do is I take rainwater and fill it to 1 litre. So I'll tip that water into a 2 litre pot, saving just a little bit for the next step. I'm going to do 2 litres of EM-1, so I will need 2 of these at 30 ml each. The warm water makes it pour in easily. And then I put this back into the 2 litre container. A bit of stirring. This fork is used only for doing this particular activity. So that's fairly dissolved now, and I'm going to get ready to put in equal amounts, that is 60 ml of EM-1. So 60 ml of EM-1. And that now goes into the somewhat warm molasses water. Now this is going to go back into the 2 litre bottle. Oops, I better take the fork out. This is going to go back into the 2 litre bottle. Now all I have to do is put 1 more litre of rainwater in it. Now I'm using this rainwater. If I were to use the scheme water, I would put it in a bucket like so and leave it for 24 hours for the fluoride to evaporate. But this is rainwater, so I can use it straight away. And there's 1 litre. Put the lid on. Put it in the sun. Now I will let that stay for 2-3 days, then I will take the lid off and I'll let any gases come out, and I will keep that inoculating for 7 to 10 days. So there's 2 litres of water, rainwater. There's 60 ml of molasses and 60 ml of EM-1. And here we go, 1 week to 2 max to get the active EM-1. You can use any number of containers. This one I had 1 litre, that is 30 ml of EM-1 and 30 of molasses, and inoculate it for 7 days, and that one I did on May 19. Here's the EM-1 getting activated. This is day 2, so I'm just going to release the top. Not a problem there. It's just a little bit of an airlock, which is good. Now I'm going to start filling the compost racks with what I've already cut up. So they've got to dry before I can put it in with the EM-1. Now, because I will be filling the racks over a period of time, I'm going to call it shelves A, B and C, and as I put a bucket in, I will change the numbers. So theoretically I should keep track of what I've done, theoretically. So the kids' playthings, magnetic and a little bit of old tin, does the job really well. I'm going to use this activated EM-1 at a ratio of 30:1, so I'm going to keep the tag on how many buckets I do, because I really have no idea of what the capacity of this is. That one's really full, that's got 5. I think this one will probably take 3. We'll see. Buckets for measurement. Because I've made the gap here, I can then position the bucket so that the stuff can fall through to the other shelf, and that shelf can get pushed in. So this is all getting ready for being an elderly woman in 10 years' time. Thinking about the future of the earth and my body. So that's 5 bucket loads there. I hope to get 4 here. There we are. Bucket balanced, and I can pull this out. This one's already quite moist, which is good because it's starting to decompose. So that's good. Time to do a bit of pushing and get it further in. All standing at shoulder height. Good. Push the shelf in and then push this further in. That's working. So I've got some down the back and the bottom, and that's what my scores are for how many buckets. So I've got 5, 4 and 4 in the drying racks now. So I'll put this up. So there's 5, there's 4, and there's 4. The middle 4 has got all the fine leaves that I like to make my potting mix. So now it's time to bring down the roller shutter. And there we are. Somewhat tidier than before. And this, of course, has got the next lot that are drying. I do believe that the plastic numbers with the magnets on the metal will be fairly easy to keep there. Doesn't matter if they get wet anyway. And I can have a bo peep that way, see how we're going. And then I close it. This is a very handy find on the verge. Someone didn't want it. I saw the potential. Very handy. For the other 6 months of the year, these two containers will be my shaded area for my grafted avocados and anything else I'm grafting. The white specks you can see is the evidence of effective microorganisms having been inoculated into the leaves.